Alrighty. Really? Yes, we are live. Alrighty. Give me 1 second to do something. Just give me 1 little second to make sure everything is working. And then we will begin. Alrighty, so what are we doing tonight? We are continuing on with our typical weekly or bi-weekly. Well, I'm happy to make it weekly, but oh well. We are continuing on with our weekly schedule of unhauling some books from my TBR. I think we made it up. Last week we made it up to this book called Blood Like Magic. I'm hoping to get at least another 10 off of my TBR. I am. Oh, I forgot to do something. Hold on, give me 1 second. Okay. Okay. So let's run through what we're doing again. We're going through TBR, reading through what a book is. If we like it, we keep it on. If we don't like it, we get rid of it. All right? Simple enough premise, so let's go. Okay, so we are starting with this one titled Blood Like Magic. This is a YA fantasy with romance. Ooh, and witches. Everybody loves a witch. Well, people with taste love witches. Oh yeah, isn't this like a trilogy or something? No, it's a duology. Okay. Anyway, what is this about? Urban fantasy debut following a teen witch who is given a horrifying task, sacrificing her first love to save her family's magic. Ooh, that's intriguing. The problem is she's never been in love. Okay, lovely. She'll have to find the perfect guy before she can kill him. I kind of love the premise. I do. I kind of love that premise. Just trying to like seduce someone in order to kill him. That's kind of cool. So after years of waiting for her calling, a trial every witch must pass in order to come into their full powers. The one thing Voya didn't expect was to fail. When Voya's ancestor gives her an unprecedented second chance to complete her calling, she agrees and then is horrified when her task is to kill her first love, and this time failure means every Thomas witch will be stripped of their magic? Dang, you can't flop or you damn your entire family. That's rough, buddy. Voya is determined to save her family's magic no matter the cost. The problem is Voya has never been in love, so for her to succeed, she'll first have to find the perfect guy and fast. Fortunately, a genetic matchmaking program has just hit the market. Her plan is to join the program, fall in love, and complete her task before the deadline. What she doesn't count on is being paired with Luke. How can she fall in love with a guy who seemingly wants nothing to do with her? With mounting pressure from her family, the girl is caught between her morality and her duty to her bloodline if she wants to save her heritage and Luke. Luck, I don't know. I'm going to say it's Luke. She'll have to find something her ancestor wants even more than blood, and in witchcraft, blood is everything. This is kind of interesting. Oh, it's got pretty good reviews. Okay, I know that this is an unhaul stream, but for the first one, I think we're gonna keep it. I'm sorry, I think we are. What's next? In a garden burning gold. Okay, so this is a fantasy. Okay. Rhea and her twin brother Lexos have spent an eternity helping their father rule their small, unstable country, using their control over the seasons, tides, and stars to keep the people in line. For 100 years, they've been each other's only ally, defending each other and their younger siblings against their father's increasingly unpredictable anger. Ooh. Y'all just need to band together and kill him. You do! You need to band together and kill him. Now, with an independence movement gaining ground and their father's rule weakening, the twins must take matters into their own hands to keep their family and their entire world from crashing down around them. But other nations are jockeying for power, ready to cross and double cross, and if Rhea and Lex aren't careful, they'll end up facing each other across the battlefield. Let's look at the reviews. 4 and 3s. I think we can chop it. I think we can chop it. Yeah, let's chop it. Alrighty. Ooh. Oh, hey, Grammar. Shoot, is the audio still quiet? Oh my god. Hold on. Give me a second to try and fix it. Alright, hold on. Maybe if we do this. How is it sounding now? Is it sounding a little bit better? And also, hey, how's it going? Yay. Always love to see you here, bestie. Alrighty. So let's move on. Okay, so we chopped that one. Let's move on to this one, titled White Smoke. Alrighty, so this is a YA horror. Ooh, we got some horror in the mix. That's interesting. Alrighty. Marigold is running from ghosts. The phantoms of her old life keep haunting her, but a move with her newly blended family from their small California beach town to the embattled Midwestern city of Cedarville might be the fresh start she needs. Her mom has accepted a new job with the Sterling Foundation that comes with a free house, one that Mary now has to share with her bratty 10-year-old stepsister Piper. The renovated picture-perfect home on Maple Street, sitting between dilapidated houses, surrounded by wary neighbors, has its secrets. That's only half the problem. Household items vanish, doors open on their own, lights turn off. Okay, so the house is haunted, basically. Yes. The house is haunted. And Piper keeps talking about a friend who Mary wants gone. Okay, so we're speaking to ghosts too. Okay. I think we can chop it. I do. I think we can chop it. I do. I think that's one we can chop it. Horror isn't really much up my alley. It's not. Anyway. So what do you got next? Okay, so we got a fantasy. Oh, it's by Amanda Foodie. I loved her work. I love her trilogy, The Shadow Game. Yeah, I love her trilogy, The Shadow Game. Anyway, let's move on. The Whisper Between Worlds. A lighthouse stands at the edge of the world, guiding Voyager. Wait, when did this come out? When is this even out? Because why are there so few ratings? Anyway, my bad. Getting distracted. Let's focus. So there's a lighthouse that guides voyagers between them and maintaining the balance of the universe. When the lighthouse master vanishes without warning, his duties pass to his assistant, Dylan, and though Dylan shares his mentor's power, the greatest magic in all the realms, he utterly lacks the charisma and charm needed to navigate the tumultuous political affairs of each world, and despite Dylan's every effort to find the lighthouse master, the trail has quickly gone cold. Until disgraced socialite Cassidy is shipwrecked upon the lighthouse's island. I think we can chop it. I think we can chop it. I'm kind of losing interest in it, and I haven't even picked it up yet. So I think we can chop it. Alrighty. So we've currently gotten 3 books unhauled, and the goal is 10. So yay, we are making good progress. What's next? What's next? What's next? Yeah. The goal is 10 for tonight, but in total, hold on. In total, I'd like to get it down. Yeah, pretty much. But in total, I'd like to get it down to at least 200 in total over the course of these streams. So that's the main goal, is to get it below 200. So what is this? Alrighty, so this is a YA fantasy. Of course it is, because these are all from 2021, 2022. And around that time, I was very much into YA fantasy, just saving it all the freaking time, apparently. Anyway, The Society for Soulless Girls. Alrighty, so a dark and funny YA thriller with a supernatural twist from the winner of Comedy Women in Print Prize. Okay. 10 years ago, 4 students lost their lives in the infamous North Tower murders at the elite Carvel College of Arts, forcing Carvel to close its doors. Now Carvel is reopening, and fearless student Lottie is determined to find out what really happened. But when her roommate Alice stumbles upon a sinister soul-splitting ritual hidden in Carvel's haunted library, the North Tower claims another victim. Can Lottie uncover the truth before the North Tower strikes again? Can Alice reverse the ritual before her monstrous alter ego consumes her? And can they stop flirting for literally 15 seconds in order to do this? Exploring possession and ambition, lust and bloodlust, femininity and violence, The Society of Soulless Girls is perfect for fans of Ace of Spaces, The Secret History, and the Inheritance games. Okay. Let's look at the reviews real quick. Alrighty, so 4 and 3 star mainly. I love the cover. The cover is very pretty. I'm going to think on this one. I don't know if I want to cut it. I might want to, but I don't know. 200 books you still want to read. A lot. Yeah, 200 is a lot. Maybe I should mark it down to like 150 or so. I don't know. Yeah, that is a lot. And that's not accounting for, in the future, I'll obviously want to read more. So yeah, but just for right now, I just need to get it below at least 200. At least 200 over the course of these streams. So what is this? Complicit. Okay. Fiction, thriller, mystery. Okay. After a long-buried harrowing incident, a woman whose promising film career was derailed has an opportunity for revenge in this visceral and timely thriller about power, privilege, and justice. A Hollywood has-been, Sarah, a Hollywood has-been Sarah's dreams of success behind the camera has been put to the wayside. Now a lecturer at an obscure college, this former producer wants nothing more than to forget those youthful ambitions and push aside any feelings of regret or guilt. But when a journalist reaches out to her to discuss her own experience working with the celebrated film producer Hugo North, Sarah can no longer keep silent. This is her last chance to tell her side of the story and maybe even exact belated revenge. As Sarah recounts the industry's dark and sordid secrets, however, she begins to realize that she has a few sins of her own to confess. Now she must confront her choices and ask herself just who was complicit. I don't know. 4 star mainly. 4 star, 3 star, 5 star. It's balancing in that range. Let me look at the reviews real quick. Not saying it needs to be less, just saying that's a lot of breeding. Yeah, that's true. That is very, very true. But on the bright side, it sounds like a lot, but it seems kind of manageable considering like I'm pretty sure I'm gonna hit 50 books this year. So, yeah, we're getting there. Let's look at the reviews for this one because I'm kind of undecided on this one. Alrighty, so this person gave it a 5 star. I think I'm one of the right targets who truly get interested in this book more than average readers. I easily connected with Sarah and her striking story. The dynamics between Sarah and Sylvia are realistically developed. The sarcastic tone of storytelling is well harmonized with interview excerpts to help us view multiple free voices and unique perspectives. It is truly worth staying up all night and attending to your meeting red-eyed. Okay. 3 stars. Okay. This timely tale, set in the era of Me Too, has all the makings of a sordid, pulse-pounding tale, but ambles into more timid territory, and unfortunately, 400 pages later, doesn't stray far from there. 4 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars, 4 stars, 4 stars, 4 stars. Okay, so people are generally considering this one good. I think we'll keep it. It's a little out of it's a little out of my wheelhouse. I don't read as much mystery and thriller as I used to, but maybe I should. Maybe I should. It's always good. It's always good to step out of comfort zones. So maybe I should. We'll keep it. Now this one. Okay, so this literary fiction. Literary fiction is not off to a good start. It's not. But let's just see. Kim Ji-young, born 1982. Okay. Truly, flawlessly, completely, she became that person. In a small, tidy apartment on the outskirts of the frenzied metropolis of Seoul, Kim Ji-young lives Kim Ji-young. A 30-something-year-old millennial everywoman, she has recently left her white-collar desk job in order to care for her newborn daughter full-time, as so many Korean women are expected to do. But she quickly begins to exhibit strange symptoms that alarm her husband, parents, and in-laws. Ji-young impersonates the voices of other women, alive and even dead. I'm sorry, my throat is starting to dry up a little. Let me get a drink. Okay, we're good. Alive and dead, both known and unknown to her. As she plunges deeper into her psychosis, her her discomfited husband sends her to a male psychiatrist. In a chilling, eerily third-person voice, Ji-young's entire life is recounted to the psychiatrist, a narrative infused with disparate elements of frustration, perseverance, and submission. Born in 1982 and given the most common name for Korean baby girls, Ji-young quickly becomes the unfavored sister for her princeling little brother. Always, her behavior is policed by the male figures around her, from the elementary school teachers who enforce strict uniform for girls, to the co-workers who install a hidden camera in the women's restroom and post their photos online. In her father's eyes, it is Ji-young's fault that men harass her late at night. In her husband's eyes, it is Ji-young's duty to forsake her career, to take care of him and their child, to put them first. Ji-young's painfully common life is juxtaposed against a backdrop of advancing Korea, as it abandons family planning, birth control policies, and passes new legislation against gender discrimination. But can her doctor flawlessly, completely cure her, or even discover what truly ails her? Rendered in minimalist yet lacquertating prose, Kim Ji-young, born 1982, sits at the center of our global Me Too movement and announces the arrival of writer and international significance. This is interesting. This is interesting. I think we'll keep it. I think we'll keep it. It sounds interesting. The only thing that's giving me pause is literary fiction, because I'm not really a literary fiction girly. I'm really, really not. So that's kind of giving me pause. However, maybe I just haven't found the right literary fiction, and maybe this will be a good a fitting literary fiction for me. Maybe I'll enjoy this. Again, it circles back to step out of your comfort zone. So we're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it. Alrighty, we have made it to 3 pages. Now let's see. I am hoping to get this total of 16 TBR down to like maybe 10 pages. Let's hope. I don't know. Anyway, let's do A Monster Calls. Fantasy YA with some horror. How, and it's also middle grade. How is it both YA and middle grade? There's a lot of tags for this. We got fantasy, YA, horror, middle grade, contemporary. We got a whole lot of stuff. Alrighty. So let's do... Sorry, 1 second. Okay, we're good. Alrighty. Connor has the same dream every night ever since his mother first fell ill. Ever since she started the treatments that don't quite seem to be working, but tonight is different. Tonight when he wakes, there's a visitor at his window. It's ancient elemental force of nature, and it wants the most dangerous thing of all from Connor. It wants the truth. Patrick Ness takes the final idea of the lead warning. Blah, 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 blah. Goodbye. It's not gripping me. Alrighty, Lucy Folly, the guest list. I believe that I can get this one at my library. I will have to check on that, but I believe I can get this at my library. So skip that one and we'll keep it because I think I can get that one at my library. Next is We Belong by Cookie Hipponia. Alrighty, so this is a middle grade. It's poetry. Oh, it's got mythology in it. Okay. So, a novel in verse that weaves an immigrant story together with Philippine mythology. That's interesting. Stella and Luna know that their mama, Elise, came from the Philippines when she was a child, but they don't know much else. So one night they ask her to tell them her story. As they get ready for bed, their mama spins two tales, that of her youth and a strong-willed middle child and refugee, and that of the life of Mayari, the mythical daughter of a god. I think we can remove this one too. I do. I think we can remove this one. All right, this one I know is also another middle grade. But I forget what this one's about. Alrighty. Told from for sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry. I'm eating a salad as I'm doing this. So if you hear like crunching or weird pauses, I am eating a salad because I'm hungry. I'm sorry. I need to eat too. Anyway. Told from four intertwining points of view, two boys and two girls, the novel celebrates bravery, being different, and finding your inner Bayani hero. Alrighty? In one day, four lives weave together in unexpected ways. Virgil is shy and kind-hearted and feels out of place in his loud and boisterous family. Valencia, who is deaf, is smart, brave, and secretly lonely, and loves everything about nature. Kaori is a self-proclaimed psychic whose little sister, Jen, is always following her around, and Chet wishes the weird kids would just act normal so that he can concentrate on basketball. They aren't friends, at least not until Chet pulls a prank that traps Virgil and his pet guinea pig at the bottom of a well. Damn! Okay, fuck Chet. I'm like, damn, kid. This disaster leads Corey, Jen, and Valencia on an epic quest to find the missing Virgil. Through luck, smarts, bravery, and a little help from the universe, a rescue is performed, a bully is put in his place, and friendship blooms. I think we can kick it. I do. I think we can kick it. I do. I mean, truth be told, we get the entire plot from the synopsis right there, or the summary, whatever it is. So yeah. Anyway, so this is a memoir about traveling. Okay, somewhere in the middle, a journey to the Philippines in search of roots, belonging, and identity. So half Filipino but raised in an American household, Deborah had always longed to know more about her Filipino heritage. So when a thick government-issued envelope arrived at her door announcing her assignment to the Philippines as a Peace Corps volunteer, she snatched the opportunity and set out on a journey of self-discovery, travel, and adventure. Arriving in the mountain town of I'm going to butcher this, and I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher this. Baguio City, Philippines. She was introduced to a life of obnoxious roosters, bucket baths, and kids shouting her name every time she walked down the street. Despite her attempts to get involved in the community, her desire for belonging and identity did not materialize as quickly as planned. Realizing that Filipino time means nothing ever happens in a hurry, Deborah braces for the journey ahead, hoping to find answers and, above all, to find herself. Okay, captures the simple joy found in ordinary moments and the people we share our lives. We can kick it. Look, I'm sorry. I'm not a big memoir person. So to me, it's just like, okay, I don't really care to read your diary about going overseas. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Maybe that's me. I'm sure Deborah's a lovely person. And I'm sure it's a great book, but it's like, girl, I don't really care to read your diary. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like, I've read memoirs in the past, but it's mainly just like celebrity memoirs that I've read in the past. Because, like, I want to know the drama about some people. I want to know the tea. But like with regular people memoirs, it's like, I don't care about your life. You're some random person off the street just like I am. Like, I don't really care. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's mean. But anyway. Anyway. The Drowning Empire, #1. Ooh, there's more to this series. Oh, it's a trilogy. Interesting. Okay. So this is the Bone Shard Daughter. That name is familiar. I remember that name, but I don't remember what this is about. The Emperor's reign has lasted for decades, his mastery of bone shard magic powering the animal life constructs that maintain law and order, but now his rule is failing and revolution is sweeping across the Empire's many islands. Lynn is the Emperor's daughter and spends her days trapped in a palace of locked doors and dark secrets. When her father refuses to recognize her as heir to the throne, she vows to prove her worth by mastering the forbidden art of bone shard magic. Yet such power carries a great cost, and when the revolution reaches the gates of the palace, Lynn must decide how far she is willing to go to claim her birthright and save her people. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to keep this for 2 reasons. One, it sounds interesting. It does. It legitimately sounds interesting. But also two, I always complain in private about, oh, I want more adult fantasy that is queer. And this ticks off those marks perfectly. So it's like, why would I get rid of this when this is the exact kind of book that I keep harping that I want to read more of? You know? You know? So yeah, we're going to keep this. And ooh, that's pretty. Ooh, that one's pretty too. Hold on. I don't know what this is about, but we're going to mark that one as one to read because that's pretty. Anyway, but like I said, this ticks all of the tags of what I keep harping on in private about. Oh, I want this kind of book. I want this kind of book. So it's like, yeah, this kind of ticks all the tags of what I want in a book. So we're gonna keep it. Anyway. Oh, I remember this one. A Natural History of Dragons. Oh, there's more of these. Jesus Christ. 5, 6. Oh my god. There's 6 books to this series? Wow. Nice. A Natural History of Dragons. This is a fantasy historical fiction. Ooh, interesting. Okay, we love to see that. So, you, dear reader, continue at your own risk. It is not for the faint of heart, no more so than the study of dragons itself. But such study offers rewards beyond compare. To stand in a dragon's presence, even for the briefest of moments, even at risk of one's life, is a delight that, once experienced, can never be forgotten. All the world from Skurland to the farthest reaches of Uriga, know Isabella, Lady Trent, to be the world's preeminent dragon naturalist. She is the remarkable woman who brought the study of dragons out of the misty shadows of myth and misunderstanding into the clear light of modern science. But before she became the illustrious figure we know today, there was a bookish young woman whose passion for learning, natural history, and yes, dragons defied the stifling conventions of her day. Here at last, in her own words, is a story of a pioneering spirit who risked her reputation. Okay, so it's basically just we are reading the memoir, journal, diary, whatever you want to call it, of this fictional scientist lady. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so I'm seeing this. I'm seeing this. I'm seeing Emily Wilde, and I'm seeing the Legends and Lattes prequel here. So this tells me that this book is going to fall into more cozy fantasy. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Now I've read Legends and Lattes, which is apparently in the same realm as this book. And it was very cozy. It was very cozy, but it didn't really offer much more than that. It was very just vibesy. And I've heard that like cozy fantasy is basically just that, just very much the vibes and nothing really more. So, yeah. I think we can chop this. I think we can chop this. I would like to. I'm going to say this now. Emily Wilde is somewhere in my TBR, and I would like to get to it at some point. But aside from that, I don't really think like cozy fantasy is necessarily for me. Just because like it's just vibes. It's just vibes, you know. And there's nothing wrong with just a vibe, but you know, still, I would like a little bit more than just vibes, you know. Anyway, let's move on. So we've got a YA fantasy here. Ooh, there's more in this series. Oh, it's a duology. Or is it a trilogy? I don't know. It's a series. It's a series. Anyway. So what is this? Raybearer. Alrighty. Tarsai has always longed for the warmth of a family. She was raised in isolation by a mysterious, often absent mother known only as the Lady. The Lady sends her to the capital of the global empire of Aristar to compete with other children to be chosen as one of the Crown Prince's Council of 11. If she's picked, she'll be joined with the other council members through the Ray, a bond deeper than blood. That closeness is irresistible to Tarsai, who has always wanted to belong somewhere. But the Lady has other ideas, including a magical wish that Tarsai is compelled to obey. Kill the Crown Prince. Once she gains his trust, Tarsai won't stand by and become someone's pawn, but is she strong enough to choose a different path for herself? Interesting. Interesting. I think we'll keep it. I do. I think we'll keep it. I do. Alrighty. She's gone. Where'd she go? When a girl disappears, who do you suspect? When Hunter wakes up in the hospital on the night of homecoming, he's shocked to learn he and his girlfriend Chloe Summers have been in a terrible car accident. Hunter has no memory of the crash, and his shock turns to horror when he is told Chloe's blood has been found in the car, but she has disappeared. Oh, it's one of those books, okay. Back at school, his fellow students taunt him, and his former best friend starts making a true crime documentary about the case. Yeah! Okay, fuck the best friend. Like, what? Fuck the friend. Oh my god. One that points the finger directly at Hunter. I need to know what happened between them. I need to know what happened between them. What was the falling out? And just when things can't get any worse, Chloe's mother stands in front of the entire town at a candlelight vigil and accuses Hunter of murder. Ma'am! 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 Under mounting pressure from the police, Hunter takes matters into his own hands by questioning anyone who might know the truth and posting videos to prove his innocence. When Hunter learns he and Chloe were seen arguing loudly outside the dance, he faces a sickening possibility. Was he angry enough to kill the person he loved? Here's the thing. I don't believe for a second that he did it, just because, like, it's YA thriller. Like, I don't think YA thrillers typically go that far. But I do love a good YA thriller. I do. I'm sorry. I like a good YA thriller. This sounds interesting to me. So I think we're going to keep it. Alrighty. Project Hail Mary. That one, I've had it on my TBR for a few years now, and I keep saying that I really, really want to get it. I do. I want to get Project Hail Mary. I really, really do. The thing that keeps delaying me is I keep like pulling it up on like like through my library or on Spotify or whatever. And well, first of all, it's not available on Spotify Premium. Only the Spanish version is, which rude. So if I want the audio version, I have to go and get it through Audible, which I'm trying not to spend money on Audible or anything. So, but anyway, and my library only has like the physical edition, and I'm looking at the page count like, okay, I don't really like ebooks in general, and you want me to read like what, like a 500, 600 page sci-fi on ebook? No. So the thing that just like keeps me from getting Project Hail Mary is like I don't exactly know how to get it because yeah, I'm still trying to figure that out. I would like to get it on audio, and I'm trying to figure out how to get it on audio for either free or at least not through Audible. So yeah, someday soon I'm gonna get to Project Hail Mary. I know it. I know it. I know it. I know it. I will. Anyway, let's move on. Ow. Ow. Sorry, just something. Anyway, the third daughter. This is so pretty. This cover, y'all. This cover is so freaking pretty. Alrighty, so this is a YA fantasy. Okay, so this is part of a duology about legacy, betrayal, sisterhood, and politicizing emotion in the quest for power, all balanced by slow burn queer romance. For centuries, the citizens of Vale have waited for their new maiden to return. The prophecy states she will appear as the third daughter of a third daughter. When the fabled child is finally born to Vale's reigning queen, all rejoice except for Elodie, the queen's eldest child, who has lost her claim to the crown. Shit! I'd be pissed off too, because, like, what do you mean? I was being trained to get the fucking throne, and now, like, just now this bitch over here who can't even talk yet, she gonna get everything just because she's born. I'd be pissed too. Okay, I would. I'd be pissed too. Like, I'm sorry. I'm kind of on a Lodi side in this. Like, you can't just make the chosen one like a general or something. I don't know. Anyway, the only way for Elodie to protect Vale is to retake the throne. To do so, she must debilitate the third daughter, her younger sister Brienne. What do you mean debilitate? What do you mean debilitate? What do you mean debilitate? Like, you gonna chop off her leg or something? What do you mean debilitate? I need you to elaborate on that. I need you to elaborate on that. What do you mean by that? Desperate, Elodie purchases a sleeping potion from Sabine, who sells sadness. Oh, like the emotion from Inside Out. But the apothecary mistakenly sends the princess away with a vial of tears instead of a harmless sleeping brew. Sabine's sadness is dangerously powerful, and Brienne slips into a slumber from which she will not wake. Okay, so it's Sleeping Beauty. With the fates of their families and country hanging in the balance, Sabine and Elodie hurry to revive the third daughter with a slow burning attraction between the two girls erupts in full force. Let me look at their views, because I'm kind of thinking, like, maybe we should keep it. It sounds interesting. And it's got a very pretty cover. I'm thinking we keep it. I'm thinking we keep it. All right. Next is The Woven Kingdom. Okay. YA fantasy romance. There's gonna be 5 books to this? Okay. Anyway. Clashing empires, forbidden romance, and a long-forgotten queen destined to save her people. Okay. Epic romantic trilogy. Okay, so apparently the trilogy plans got thrown out the window. Anyway, inspired by Persian mythology. To all the world, at Elysia is a disposable servant, not the long-lost heir to an ancient Jinn kingdom forced to hide in plain sight. The Crown Prince Cameron has heard prophecies foretelling the death of his king, but he could never have imagined that the servant girl with the strange eyes, the girl he can't put out of his mind, would one day soon uproot his kingdom and the world. Perfect for fans of Lee Bardugo, Tomi Adeyemi, and Sapa Tahir, this is the explosive first book in a new fantasy, not trilogy, from the New York Times bestselling and National Book Award nominated author Tayeri Mafi. I'm sorry if I pronounced his name wrong. This sounds interesting. And here's what sold me on keeping this. Perfect for fans of Lee Bardugo, Tomi Adeyemi, and Sapa Tahir. Y'all know I love Sapa Tahir. Y'all know I really like Lee Bardugo. Y'all know I really liked Children of Blood and Bone. I didn't like the second one, but I loved the first one. So right here, this is kind of telling me. I mean, this is interesting, but like this right here sold me on keeping it. So we're gonna keep it. We are going to keep it. We are going to keep it. The Magnolia Palace. Ooh, historical fiction. And mystery historical fiction. Okay. Okay. 8 months since losing her mother in the Spanish flu outbreak of 1919, 21-year-old Lillian has her life completely fallen apart. For the past 6 years, under the moniker Angelica, Lillian was one of the most sought-after artists and models in New York City, with statues based on her figure gracing landmarks from the Plaza Hotel to the Brooklyn Bridge. But with her mother gone, a grieving Lillian is rudderless and desperate. The work has dried up, and a looming scandal has left her entirely without a safe haven. So when she stumbles upon an employment opportunity at the Frick Mansion, a building that ironically bears her own visage, Lillian jumps at the chance. But the longer she works as a private secretary to the imperious and demanding Helen, the daughter and heiress of industrialist and art patron Henry Clay Frick, the more deeply her life gets intertwined with that of the family, pulling her into a tangled web of romantic tryst, stolen jewels, and family drama that runs so deep the stakes just may be life or death. Nearly 15 years later, English model Veronica Weber has her own chance to make her career and with it earn the money she needs to support her family back home, within the walls of the former Frisk residence, now converted into one of New York City's most impressive museums. But when she, along with the charming intern/budding art curator named Joshua, is dismissed from the Vogue photo shoot taking place in the Frick collection, she chances upon a series of hidden messages in the museum, messages that will lead her and Joshua on a hunt that could not only solve Veronica's financial woes, but could finally reveal the truth behind a decades-old murder in the infamous Frick family. We'll keep it. We will keep it. We will keep it. I want to read more historical fiction. I do. This sounds interesting. I like a good murder mystery, and I want to read more historical fiction. Plus, also the cover is beautiful. So I think we will keep it. I think we will. I'm noticing the more that we get deeper into these live streams, we are inevitably getting closer and closer to more recent books, aka more books that I want to read more so, because I've saved them more recently, so I'm more so like, those are more interesting. Anyway, we are up to Station Eternity. How many books? I'm nosy. I'm curious. Oh, 3 books. Okay. I believe this is a sci-fi. Yes, sci-fi mystery. Okay. From idyllic small towns to claustrophobic urban landscapes, Mallory Viridian is constantly embroiled in murder cases that only she has the insight to solve. But outside of a classic mystery novel, being surrounded by death doesn't make you a charming amateur detective. It makes you a suspect and a social pariah. So when Mallory gets the opportunity to take refuge on a sentient space station, she thinks she has the solution. Surely the murderers will stop if her only company is alien beings. At first, her new existence is peacefully quiet and markedly devoid of homicide. But when the station agrees to allow additional human guests, Mallory knows the break from her peculiar reality is over. After the first Earth shuttle arrives and aliens and humans alike begin to die, the station is thrown into peril, stuck smack dab in the middle of an extraterrestrial whodunit, and wondering how in the world this keeps happening to her anyway. Mallory has to solve the crime, and fast, or the list of victims could continue to grow, including everybody on board. Undecided. And it sounds interesting, but it also kind of sounds pretty generic. But the covers look interesting. I don't know. Yeah, let's look at the reviews. 3 stars, 2 stars, 5 stars, 3 stars, 3 stars, 2 stars, 2 stars, 4 stars. I think we chop it. Yeah. It sounds interesting. Let's make that note. It sounds interesting. But again, 300 books. Somebody has to get chopped. So I think we have to chop that one. Let's look at The Night Shift. All right, so this is a thriller mystery. Alrighty. It's New Year's Eve, 1999. Y2K is expected to end in chaos. Planes falling from the sky, elevators plunging into Earth, blah, 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 blah. But at a Blasco video in Linden, New Jersey, 4 teenage girls working the night shift are attacked. Only one survives. Police quickly identify a suspect who flees and is never seen again. 15 years later, in the same town, 4 teenage employees working late at an ice cream store are attacked, and again, only one makes it out alive. Both surviving victims recall the killer speaking only a few final words. "Good night, pretty girl." In the aftermath, 3 lives intersect. The survivor of the Blockbuster massacre who's forced to relive her tragedy, the brother of the original suspect who's convinced the police have it wrong, and the FBI agent who's determined to solve both cases. On a collision course toward the truth, all 3 lives will forever be changed, and not everyone will make it out alive. Twisty and poignant and redemptive, The Night Shift is a story about the legacy of trauma and how the broken can come out on the other side, and it solidifies... Let me look. Are you American? Is the author American? Yes, he is. All right. Obviously, you could tell. Well, no, I take that back. It could be assumed that the author was American based on, it's in New Jersey, but not always. I've seen some British people set their mysteries and thrillers in America too. So I just had to be sure. Here's the thing. As we've said in other live streams, American thriller mystery stuff, not really for me. I don't know why. For some reason, Americans writing adult thriller mysteries, it always falls short for me. It does. It always falls short for me. For some reason, the British do it better. I don't know why. Anyway, all my rage by Saba Tahir. It's Saba Tahir. We are keeping Mother's book. Okay, we are. I'm going to get it at some point. I don't know how exactly I'm going to get it. I got a few ideas of how I'm going to get my hands on that book, but I am going to read All My Rage by next year. So let's move on to Of Crowns and Legends. All right, so this is a fantasy historical fiction. Okay. Oh, it's Camelot. All right, just based on the first word. Just because, I'm not really medieval kind of stuff. We're already kind of looking like, probably a chop. Anyway, let's just read. Let's give it a fair shot. Camelot's power hangs by a thread, but no one yet knows it. It is a fate. Its fate is tied to the children King Arthur, who was never supposed... Its fate is tied to the children King Arthur was never supposed to have. There we go. Alrighty. So the Pendragons are twins, best friends, and yet nothing alike. When Anwil pores over books in the library, Aradin is training to be the Knight of the Round Table, yet they are both haunted by the same shadow, their late father, King Arthur. It's been 20 years since Arthur died. Peace has been prospered. No. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Here's the thing. Medieval stuff is not really for me. Medieval European stuff is not really for me. The only like King Arthur inspired story that has gripped me is what was the name again? Blood Oath. That's not it. What was the name of that first one again? What was the name of that first one again? I can't remember it. It's one that I've read this year. I can't remember the name of it exactly just yet. So let me find it. Let me find it. All right. Yeah, the Legendborn cycle. The only like King Arthur inspired thing that has like captured my attention is the Legendborn cycle, which is so very good. I love it so much. So yeah, but other than that, every other like King Arthur inspired thing always falls flat for me just because like I'm not really into that kind of stuff. It's just medieval Europe has never really captured my attention. No, it hasn't. Anyway, let's move on. Children of Time. I saved this up purely based off of recommendation because I heard it was very, very good. This is a science fiction. Alrighty. A race for survival among the stars. Humanity's last survivors escape Earth's ruins to find a new home. But when they find it, their desperation overcome its dangers. Alrighty. The last remnants of the human race left a dying Earth, desperate to find a new home among the stars. Following in the footsteps of their ancestors, they discover the greatest treasure of the past age, a world terraformed and prepared for human life. But all is not right in this new Eden. In the long years since the planet was abandoned, the work of its architects has borne disastrous fruit. The planet is not waiting for them, pristine and unoccupied. New masters have turned it from a refuge into mankind's worst nightmare. Now two civilizations are on a collision course, both testing the boundaries of what they will do to survive. As the fate of humanity hangs in the balance, who are the true heirs of this new Earth? Do we keep it? Do we chop it? Do we keep it? Do we chop it? Do we keep it or do we chop it? I mean, the reviews are stellar. The reviews are stellar. The only like bad review is this one, just based on the top reviews. Yeah, 5 and 4 star, 5 and 4 star. It sounds interesting, and it's got 5 and 4 star, and I've heard that's like really, really good. I've heard that it's like really, really, really good. I think we'll keep it. I think we'll keep it. I do. I think we'll keep it. I think we'll keep it. Alrighty. Let's look. Next up, we've got the Raven Boys. This is another YA fantasy. Ooh, it's paranormal too. Alrighty, I think I remember this one. This is like a trilogy, I think. Alrighty. Every year, Blue Sergeant stands next to her clairvoyant mother as the soon-to-be-dead walk past. Blue herself never sees them, not until this year when a boy emerges from the dark and speaks directly to her. His name is Gainsey, and Blue soon discovers that he is a rich student at the local private school. Blue has a policy of staying away from those boys known as the Raven Boys. They can only mean trouble. But Blue is drawn to Gainsey in a way she can't entirely explain. He has it all: family, money, good looks, devoted friends. But he's looking for much more than that. He's on a quest that has encompassed 3 other Raven Boys. For as long as she can remember, Blue has been warned that she will cause her true love to die. Okay. Okay then. Damn. She never thought this would be a problem, but now, as her life becomes caught up in the strange and sinister world of the Raven Boys, she's not so sure anymore. I think we can chop it. I think we can chop it. And there's two reasons. And there's two reasons why we can chop it. One, the premise, yeah, it sounds interesting, but it's also like not something that I need to read. And also two, with Cindy over here. I love her. I love her YouTube channel. But every single time that she loves a book, I end up hating it. And every time that I love a book, she ends up hating it too. So if Cindy loves it, that kind of tells me that I will hate it. Just because, just because, different people, different reading tastes. That's simply it. So I think I'm going to chop it. Yeah. The Poppy War. R.F. Kuang, who is the author of Babel, is the author of this one, and I severely want to read this one. I do. So I already know that I want to read this one, and I want to read Yellowface, because even though I said last year that, like, oh, I want to read more R.F. Kuang, I didn't, for some reason, even though I really do. So 2025, we're going to make an effort. We're going to make an effort to read both Yellowface and The Poppy War, because I really like R.F. Kuang's writing. It was very good. Okay, wait. This is A Darker Shade of Magic, and I know that I really want to read this one also, because I want to read V.E. Schwab. I want to read something by V.E. Schwab. So I'm going to keep that one too. Let's move on. Let me get a drink. Alrighty. Fiction, mystery, thriller, gothic. Interesting. This is The Cloisters. When Anne arrives in New York City, she hopes to spend her summer working as an associate at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Instead, she finds herself assigned to the Cloisters, a Gothic museum and garden renowned for its collection of medieval and Renaissance art. There, she is drawn into a small circle of charismatic but enigmatic researchers, including Patrick Rowland, the museum's mercurial curator who specializes in the history of tarot. Rachel, Patrick's best curatorial associate and sometime muse, and Leo, the gardener who nurtures the museum's precious collection of medical and poisonous plants. Okay, so we're involved in all of these people at the museum. Okay. Relieved to have left her troubled past in rural Washington behind her, Anne longs for camaraderie with her colleagues and peers and is happy to indulge their more outlandish theories, only to find that their fascination with fortune-telling runs deeper than academic obsession. So Patrick is determined to prove that ancient divination holds the key to the foretelling future, and when Anne stumbles across a breakthrough in the form of a mysterious and previously believed lost deck of 15th century Italian tarot cards, she finds herself at the center of a dangerous game of power, toxic friendship, and ambition. Then there is an unexpected and devastating death, and suddenly everyone becomes a suspect. As the game being played with the Cloisters spirals out of control, Anne must decide if the tarot cards can not only teach her about the past, but also the future. I'm going to think on this one. Yeah, the reviews are mixed, so I'm going to think on this one. Because it's like, it sounds interesting, but it also doesn't sound like something I desperately need to read. Well, if that's the case, should I really think on it? But I don't know. It sounds like something different than what I typically read, and going out of my comfort zone and all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna think on it. Yeah, I'm gonna think on it. I probably will get rid of it, but I'm gonna think on it just to be sure. Alrighty, Witchlings. All right, that's a middle grade fantasy, which, yeah, I'm gonna keep Witchlings because I read like middle grade stuff when I get into reading slumps. So I always like, have something on the horizon of like, oh, if I get into a reading slump, I'll read this little quick cutesy little middle grade book or whatever, just like get back into the mood of reading. So so any and all like middle grade books, I don't really consider them like, a big priority on this TBR. So they don't really count. They don't really count on this thing towards like the overall goal of getting rid of books. Because ultimately they're just there as like backups, just like backups if I get into a reading slump and need something to like jog my love of reading again. So we'll keep that one and we'll move on. I hope I explained that well. I'm not sure if I did. Alrighty, so this is Raven's Piece. This is a sci-fi space opera. Interesting, interesting. The cover is blurry as hell. The cover is blurry as hell, I will say that. Alrighty. For 17 years, Colonel Henry and the United Planets Space Force, I'm sorry, I'm getting tired, have fought the Kenmiri Empire. They drove the alien overlords back from humanity's borders into their own stars and found allies among the Kenmiri's slaves and subjects. Now the war is over, a great gathering has been called of the allies who fought the war, but they only ever shared a common enemy. With the Kenmiri in retreat, 1,000 new agendas are revealed. The United Planets Alliance wants peace above all else, their allies want everything from new homes to new empires, and all too many of them are prepared to do anything to achieve their goals. Out of curiosity, how many books? Jesus Christ. I'm curious. What are we building up to? I think we can chop it. I do. I think we can chop it. I think we can chop it. Yeah, we can chop it. Alrighty. We'll go for like 10 more minutes and then we'll be done. Because I'm getting tired, my brain is not functioning at full capacity, which it never does, but oh well. Anyway, The Last Tale of the Flower Bride. This is a fantasy gothic horror with romance and mystery. Okay. A sumptuous gothic-infused story about a marriage that is unraveled by dark secrets, a friendship cursed to end in tragedy, and the danger of believing in fairy tales. The breathtaking adult debut from New York Times bestselling author Roshani Chotsky. Once upon a time, a man who believed in fairy tales married a beautiful, mysterious woman named Indigo. He was a scholar of myths. She was an heiress to a fortune. They exchanged gifts and stories and believed they would live happily ever after. And in exchange for her love, Indigo extracted a promise that of her bridegroom would never pry into her past. Okay, so the husband's not supposed to ask about the wife's past. Car going past. But when Indigo learns that her estranged aunt is dying and the couple is forced to return to her childhood home, the House of Dreams, the bridegroom will soon find himself unable to resist. For within the crumbling manors, extravagant rooms, and musty halls, there lurks the shadow of another girl. Azure, Indigo's dearest childhood friend who suddenly disappeared. That's weird. That's weird. Okay. As the house slowly reveals his wife's secrets, the bridegroom will be forced to choose between reality and fantasy, even if doing so threatens to destroy their marriage or their lives. You know, sir, here's the thing. Here's the thing, sir. Here's the thing. Like, at some point, you know what? If the marriage has been good up to this point, like if she hasn't killed your ass yet, maybe just don't ask about her past.
Because at the end of the day, like, if nothing else, if it is revealed that she's a killer, if your life is good right now, and she's got a lot of money that she can leave you when she's dead, maybe just leave it be. Not everything has to be discovered. Maybe just leave it be. That sounds so bad. That sounds so bad at me, but still, like, you know what? Like, sir, if your life has been good up to this point, and she got a lot of money that she's gonna inherit, and then maybe can give on to you if she dies first, maybe just leave it be. I don't know. Like, if she killed her friend, oh well. Combining the lush, haunting atmosphere of Mexican Gothic with the dreamy enchantment of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, the Last Tale of the Flower Bride is a spellbinding and romantic page-turner about love and lies, secrets and betrayal, and the stories we tell ourselves to survive. This sounds interesting. This sounds interesting. It does. It does. It does. It does. It does. It does. This sounds interesting. This sounds interesting. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it. Alrighty, Yellowface we already established. Let's do this one. Lesbian Love Story. This is a nonfiction book, which I don't really read nonfiction all too much. So we're kind of going to base this off of, should we jump out of our comfort zone or not? Oh, it's a memoir. Oh, okay. Well, it's a memoir. Which I don't read memoirs all too much, unless it's like a celebrity memoir. Like I said before. Anyway. When Amelia moved to Brooklyn to build a life of her own, she found herself surrounded by queer stories. She read them on landmark placards, overheard them on the pool deck when she joined the world's largest LGBTQ swim team, and even watched them on TV in her cockroach-infested apartment. But these stories rarely featured lesbians who could become her role models in romance as in life. This is the story of Pazana's journey into the archives to recover the stories of lesbians in the 20th century, who they were, how they loved, why their stories were destroyed, and where their memories echo and live on. Centered around 7 love stories for the ages, Pazana's hunt takes readers from a drag king shows in Bushwick to the home of activists in Harlem, and then across the ocean to Hadrian's library, where she searches, there we go, for traces of Sappho in the ruins. Along the way, she discovers her own love for swimming, for community, for New York City, and adds her own record to the archive. At the heart of this riveting, inventive story, Pazana asks, how could lesbian love help us reimagine care and community? What would our world look like if we replaced its foundation of misogyny with something new and with something distinctly lesbian? This sounds interesting. Now, like I said earlier, I don't really read like memoir type of books because like normally it just sounds like, okay, you're telling me your life story, you're telling me your diary. I don't really give a shit. But this sounds interesting. Like we're going back in time. We're visiting. We are revisiting hidden history. All this kind of stuff. This sounds interesting. So I think we're gonna keep this one. Alrighty. Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. Now here's the thing. I do like Ali Hazelwood as an author. Do I necessarily need to keep all of her books on my TBR? Not really. Like, when I get to her books, I will get to her books. So I will keep, like, 1 or 2 of her books on my TBR here. But, like, I don't need to keep all of them on my TBR. Alrighty. All the Dangerous Things. This is a thriller, mystery... Hold on. Is this American? Because I can tell from the cover that it's domestic thriller. So are you American? Oh, this is the Flicker in the Dark Lady. Wait, I DNF'd that book hard, and I skipped to the end. I did not like what it was telling me. Ooh, wait. This is the Flicker in the Dark Lady. Okay, bye. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Maybe that's mean to me. Maybe that's mean to me. Because I typically like to give people second chances, but that book, A Flicker in the Dark. Oh my god. Oh my god. Like no. No, and this is another like domestic American thriller. No. No, goodbye. Chop. Anyway, A Quiet Life. All right, so this is literary fiction. Okay. Literary fiction, we are off to a bad start, but the cover is gorgeous. Cover really is gorgeous. Oh my god. All right. Motorcycle going by, and let's go. Set in a close-knit suburb in the grip of winter, A Quiet Life follows three people grappling with loss and finding a tender wisdom in their grief. So Chuck used to look forward to nothing so much as his annual trip to the Hilton Head with his wife, Kat, that yearly taste of relaxation they'd become accustomed to after a lifetime of working and raising two children. Now, just 2 months after Kat's death, Chuck finds that he can't let go of her belongings. So he's in grief. Okay. So Chuck is really in grief over the death of his wife. Okay. Ella delivers morning newspapers and works at a bridal shop to fill her days while she anxiously awaits news, any piece of information about her missing daughter. Ella adjusts to life in a new apartment and answers every call on her phone, hoping her daughter will reach out. Okay. So we got grieving husband, worried mother that her daughter's missing and she's probably killed. Let's be honest. And after the sudden death of her father, Kristen set aside her veterinary school aspirations, finding comfort in the steady routine of working at an animal shelter. But as time passes, old dreams and new romantic interests begin to surface, and Kristen finds herself at another crossroads. In this beautiful and profoundly moving novel, three parallel narratives converge in poignant and unexpected ways, as each character bravely presses onward, trying to recover something they have lost. Okay. Let's think. The cover is gorgeous. I will say that. It sounds somewhat mildly interesting, but literary fiction, and I think that the main point the author is going to make is like, move on, live your life. You can grieve, but you can't let grief consume you and stop you from living life. Like, I think, like, I'm pretty sure that's going to be the main message of this book. So, goodbye. Sorry. Goodbye. Alrighty, and that's a Star Wars book. Ooh, that's a High Republic book, so we will keep that. Alrighty. It is midnight. We have made it through like 2 more pages. So thank God. Thank God. I think we got like what? Like 10 books done? 10, 11, something like that. So we're good. We're good. We are good for tonight. This has been very eventful. This has been very good. And I'm noticing now that we are getting more and more into books that I've more recently saved in recent years, and I'm like, ooh, that's more interesting. So I can tell from now on going forward, it's going to get harder to like chop a few. It's going to get harder for me to chop some. At least I think so. But anyway, that's a problem for future me. I have had fun. Oh, I saw this one at Target recently. Anyway, I have had fun. I will talk to y'all next time, probably next week when we do this again. So, good night.